Health and well-being, as I said at the beginning of the presentation, this is something that's really important to us as a company, but also I think will form a much more relevant, important part of the whole specification process. And I think that where we are now looking at buildings and really about the impact that the internal climate has on health and well-being, the regulations going forward will incorporate health and well-being much more. So, what is health and well-being? Well, that's a statement from the government about what health and well-being actually is, and there's various different factors: food safety, housing standard, health and safety, air quality, noise, and the environment issues. So all of those things contribute or a fundamental contribution to the maintenance and improvement of public health. And anything that we can do to improve public health obviously benefits the greater society, but it also benefits and has less impact on hospitals and all of the associated risks that we currently have with hospitalization. The specification of natural low impact materials can play a pivotal role, in housing standards. So we can have a real impact in what we can do by lobbying government and trying to make sure and specifying that the right types of materials are being used in housing. We can have a huge impact on health and safety by integrating and incorporating a much more stringent fire strategy, and we can do that with timber products, even though the drive may be the other way. Air quality, that's all about breathability, being moisture vapor open, being airtight, all of those structures we can do, and all of those things we can consider with a natural approach. Noise, again, as I spoke about before, that's an important factor that we can think of by specifying the wall correctly. And environment issues, by using renewable, sustainable materials, locking up carbon. Those are all things that we can do as specifiers to help and to promote health and well-being in the buildings. With regards to housing standards, just looking at each of those topics in a little bit more detail, currently regulations are highly weighted towards the U value. And we need to say that it isn't just about the U value. You need a balanced approach. You need to think about the U value. You need to think about summer heat protection. You need to think about being vapor open, breathable, and using sustainable materials. A lot of those aren't even considered in the building regulations. And when we look at the building regs, people say, well, I'm building to building regulations. Building regulations, you're building to the lowest acceptable standards, building to regs. We should be looking above and beyond what the regulations tell us to do, and considering factors with regards to human health that the building regulations haven't yet got to, but will inevitably get to in 20, 30, 40 years down the line.